to stay with us. There is some more news coming in. 4 terrorists killed in Jammu and Kashmir's Baramulla encounter, in fact, has been on for the last 28 hours. One terrorist still trapped. Massive crackdown on terror in the valley. Mufti Islah joining us on the phone line. Mufti, could you give us more details, please?
Well, you're right in suggesting that 28 hours have passed and there now 4 militants have been killed. In fact, the last one was killed an hour back by police and army who were locked in an encounter since yesterday 3 a.m. in the morning in Malwa area of Baramulla. One of the biggest catch happened when yesterday police was able to eliminate Kantru, Yusuf Kantru, who was wanted since last 5 years, had a long history in militancy. He was in and out of militancy since 2000, started with HM and then got arrested, subsequently recycled again into militancy, and finally yesterday he was killed after some 20 years. But he had been really active and had shifted from HM to Lashkar and was in the police list of most wanted militants. In fact, police had last year framed a list of 10 militants. Out of those, 6 have now been eliminated. But that said, this encounter is raging on. We believe that one foreign militant is still there, according to police sources, although 4 have now been killed. 5 was the initial estimate when the forces went in for that encounter. 4 have now been accounted for. As I said, a foreign militant is still locked in that area in Malwa, which is slightly downside the road, and that's creating some kind of a difficulty. Yesterday through the day we had rains, and that kind of slowed down the operations. But yes, in the valley we have seen spate of encounters really taking place. I was trying to look at the statistics. 7 encounters have taken place since April 1st, and 16 militants have been killed, most of them from Lashkar. Gives you a sense of what is happening in the valley. Clearly, every other day you have attacks from the militants on civilians, on for that matter, men in uniform or minority community members. But the security forces have also been alert in getting information and converting that into huge encounters. In fact, yesterday's encounter, which is going on, happens to be one of the longest encounters because last week only 4 militants were killed in Badigam area of Shopian. This probably would be one of the fiercest and biggest encounters, and successful too for the forces this year.
Okay, thank you so much, Mufti Islah, for getting us all the very latest. In fact, we have Major General A.K. Siwach now joining us on the phone line. Now, if I can ask you, how do you see this massive crackdown on terror just 2 days ahead of the Prime Minister's visit in the state?
You know, and the point is, as on today, the militancy is on its decline. No doubt once the Prime Minister is going and is going to announce number of positive tests. So the militants especially are feeling left out, and the point is the ISI and Pakistan deep state are trying to create a situation wherein they want to show to the world that the Jammu and Kashmir is a disturbed area. So this is a part of that strategy. But all said and done in this month only, the operation which have been taken place, as was being told, in place, and this Lashkar-e-Toba Jaise Muhammad is now almost about 200 left. The residual terrorists are not much, and the way things are going, it looks like that the militancy will have its last breath in a year or so. So the point today is that this successful operation taken place, 16 terrorists have been killed, mainly of Lashkar-e-Toba. The reason is simple, that there are about 5,000 terrorists which were fighting in Afghanistan along with Taliban. They are equipped with M4 and M16 weapons which were left by Americans behind in Afghanistan. They are already waiting in training areas and launch pads to be infiltrated. That is a crunch point that we must understand. And Pakistan, at one end, is trying to say that they want to maintain a good relation with India. At the same time, they are trying to push all these terrorists in India. So we have to be very alert. Though the terrorists which are inside Jammu and Kashmir are not more than about 200, 250. But what is the cause of worry is that the terrorists which are waiting in launch pad and training areas in Jammu and Kashmir, in POK, which is a cause of concern. However, our counter-infiltration grid is very stable and very robust. At the same time, our counter-terrorism grid within valley floor as well as in the area of Jammu and Kashmir is quite, you can say, strong. So the terrorists which are trying to sneak in spite of our stable infiltration grid, are killed in hinterland. So the operations which are there, which are taking place in last about a month or so, have been all successful, and mainly the terrorists which are of Lashkar-e-Toba. So it shows that irrespective of change of government in Pakistan, it really does not make a difference, because the last call is been always called by Pakistan Army, and Pakistan Army wants that the terrorism should keep on going in Jammu and Kashmir, whereas it is on the last leg, and there are only about 200 terrorists which are left.
Absolutely. General, terrorism in Kashmir keeps the business going, as it were, for the Pakistani army. Good morning to you, Shreya, this side, and thank you very much for joining us. My colleague